Hi everyone! I wanted to talk about some thoughts I've been having lately about creativity. As someone who has come from a background of performing arts, I started ballet when I was 4 and I was pursuing it pre-professionally all through high school and most of college. A lot of my association with art or creativity is that it's performative in the way that it is intended for an audience. And now I'm an actress living in New York City, and it's very similar, where you're creating art, but it always feels like it's meant for someone to see it. It kind of has gotten me thinking about the value of art, and if it is only valuable when it is viewed by someone else, and the ways I am creative in my day-to-day life, and how I think that creativity, when it's not meant for anyone, is actually very incredibly healing. I have picked up several hobbies recently. I have been crocheting and knitting, and I've always loved writing, and those things have always been for myself. When I write, I'm not putting any pressure on myself like, oh, I'm gonna try to publish this book or post this poem or whatever. I'm truly doing it because I enjoy it. Like, that's the only reason. And same with crocheting and knitting. I do it because I think it's fun to make something for myself. It's the actual act of creating it or actual act of writing it that is the reward. Well, with crochet or knitting, the reward is also what you get at the end. And there are so many other examples of creativity. Like, those are what speak to me. But for example, someone could love cooking, and that has so much creativity to it, but it's the act of cooking or their own reward they get from it. Maybe they're cooking for other people, but I think there's something so special about just cooking for yourself, or just doing that creative thing for yourself because you enjoy it. Like, when I bake something, it's really just for myself to enjoy it because I like it. As a society, we're so often thinking about, oh, how can I share this with other people? Even if it's like a photo on social media or this piece of dance, this variation, how can I show other people what I can do? How can I get them to see this art that I've created? With acting, it's hard because you're like auditioning for everything, and it sometimes feels like, what's the value in doing it if there isn't anyone watching you act? Because it's a very community-centered type of art. Same with ballet. But I've gotten to the point with ballet now where I take a class and I take it just for myself because I enjoy it. And that didn't always used to be the case. It was usually for an end goal, which isn't to say end goals are bad, but the way I was viewing it in ballet was very negative, and I was never enough. And so that's why I had to keep taking class instead of maybe I just like moving this way. But now I do take class like that. And I think for acting, it's similar. You take class to practice, or when you get a self-tape, you have to have the mindset that you're doing it because you enjoy acting. It's interesting to think about whether or not you're like an artist by profession, what creative things you're doing, and who you're doing them for. Creativity for its own sake can be an antidote for a lot of hardships and challenging times and loneliness and boredom and feeling like life has lost its spark a little, lack of motivation. Because I think when we're creating for creativity's sake, just for fun because we enjoy it, it's like we're going back to when we're kids and we're just playing. You're not doing it for anyone but yourself. You're not performing it. You're just sitting by yourself with whatever toy you liked to play with. I don't know, you could build forts or climb a tree or whatever it was you enjoyed doing when you were little. It was just because it was fun to do. It was probably only when you were older that maybe it felt like, oh, I have to prove something. And I think it's really important, whether you're an artist or not, to find something creative and hold on to it and make it sacred in your head, as this is something that I will do just because it's fun, just for the fact that it's creative and I enjoy it, not because I need to share it with anyone. It can be really easy to slip into judgment and start seeing everything wrong with whatever you're making and finding fault in it. When you're little, you don't do that. I know for myself, I really want to try making it a habit of prioritizing those things more. You can personalize it to whatever feels best for you. Like I said, cooking, or if you love the creativity of dressing up just for yourself and doing your makeup and your hair and putting together outfits that are really fun and creative, if that's your outlet. Or singing in the shower just because it's fun. Doodling on some paper when you're stressed, or doing those like intricate coloring books just because they're relaxing and fun, not because you're ever going to show them to anyone, but maybe you'll look back on them and be like, wow, that was really beautiful and I made that. And I think it's helped me to feel a sense of pride and accomplishment that's just for myself. It's not me proving anything else to the world. With social media and everything being so accessible and just being bombarded with all sorts of content, it also helps us connect back to ourselves when we do something that we truly just like to do. Then we're tuning out from that spiral of messages and content that you can get swept away into. Creativity can really help if you're in a hard place in your life. I have found trying to add even a couple minutes in of a quick journal entry, or writing things I'm grateful for, or writing a poem, or doing like 2 rows of knitting or crocheting, or just doing my makeup that morning in a fun way, or adding a little extra thing to my outfit, or if you really like cooking, like trying a new recipe that week. Something that just adds to my life in a way that lifts me up a little and reminds me that I can change things that I'm not happy with, and that I can prioritize myself and having fun in some small way. I know lately that I have been feeling very stressed, and it's so easy to get tunnel vision when you're feeling stressed and just see whatever it is that's causing you anxiety, and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Creating something, it feels more conscious than tuning things out. It gives your brain space to kind of work and process in the background, to come up with creative solutions even. You're activating that part of your brain, so it's so important, and it often gets forgotten about or overwhelmed by everything else that comes up in life. I encourage you to maybe make a list of brainstorming things that just feel fun and that you like to do and that are just for you, and that you don't feel the pressure to share with anyone because you don't have to share them with anyone. If you feel like you can't think of anything, that's totally okay too, because life kind of beats it out of you a little bit. You can just start walking through your life and kind of have more awareness of what do I like and what do I not like to do, and what do I find fun, and can I do more of that somehow in some small way. If being an artist or creative person is part of my job, how can I make some part of it special in a way that's only for me? so that I can have a break from constantly thinking about how other people are viewing it. That's not the point of creativity. It's so hard to separate that. No one needs to see your art for it to be art. And I definitely don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to share it. But I think it's also important to do it just for yourself. You're worthy of that art too. So I'd love to hear what fun, creative things you all love to do and want to try to do more of that are just for you and that you plan on not sharing with the world. And if you do have art that you share with the world, I'd love to know about that too. Thanks for watching.